Good evening, everyone. We're in our special business meeting of the District of Squamish for Tuesday, June 12th. Alphonse Colum, Please Squamish, Awaymail. Welcome to the traditional territory of the Squamish Nation. There is an amended agenda in front of Council. There's with the addition of a letter of support for that. There is an additional suggestion from the CAO that we amend it further by taking off items 3A2 and 3A3. Maybe I'll just pass it over to CAO to explain that.
Certainly, thank you, Mayor Heinzman. In terms of the land development communications policy, it requires that any new application, whether it's OCP or zoning development application, be put on our development showcase for 21 days. And it was a staff oversight that this application, the new application for Garibaldi Springs, has only been up on our showcase now for 14 days. So that's staff's recommendation to defer consideration of first and second reading until such a time as it's on the showcase for 21 days. And it seems that we already have enough to pass the threshold that we'll be recommending that the developer, or required that the developer have a public information meeting. So that's
So move amendment with that change and the addition of the letter. Moved by Councillor Kent, second by Councillor Chappelle.
Just a question.
Yep.
I didn't quite understand the public thing that you said, the public meeting. So that'll be after.
For clarity, Mayor Heinzman, if I may, if 10 or more people request a public information meeting, which is separate from a public hearing that the developer schedules, then we require that the developer host a public information meeting. We've passed that threshold, and so we'll be asking the developer to have a public information meeting.
So public information meeting, and then the 21 days is up, then we can see.
As long as it complies with all of our our policies, then it will likely come back in front of us at some time.
Sorry, there was some confusion in the public as well about whether it was a new application because it had failed third reading, or if it was a reapplication. So maybe the CA.
Yeah, certainly I can speak to that. In our development procedure bylaw, it refers to reapplication not coming back within 6 months, and that's if it's the same application. This application has changed. It's considered a new application.
And it's based on the new OCP, not the old OCP. It's a different application than it was.
Yeah, I just wanted that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll call the question on the agenda. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. First up, we have first and second reading consideration of District of Squamish Official Community Plan Bylaw number 2500-2017, Amendment Bylaw Cheekeye Developments number 261528.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Jonas Volnishkis, Director of Community Planning, and today we're bringing forward an OCP amendment, the first amendment to the new official community plan that the district just adopted. And it's really a procedural step because we have an in-stream application and the bylaw the application was trying to amend is no longer around. We have a new OCP, a new bylaw number. So this procedural step has to happen for the application to get back up to a certain point where it was at previously. So the bylaw number used to be 2305, 2013, and the new official community plan amendment bylaw is 2615. At this time, we're also bringing the zoning amendment bylaw, which is the old bylaw. The zoning bylaw hasn't changed, so the companion zoning amendment is intact. However, it needs a new public hearing because of the new information that the district has received a while ago. So both bylaws, the OCP is brought forward for first and second reading consideration. The zoning bylaw is brought forward for scheduling of a public hearing. Cover that off. So just to recap quickly, the site that this development is proposed on is about 170 acres. It's within the vicinity of a church, a high school, an elementary school, existing development on Ross Road, Brockendale Farmers Institute Park, and the district's cemetery. And there's also a major BC Hydro corridor going to the east of the proposed development. So as I just covered off, the adoption of the Squamish 2040 OCP did not recognize any in-stream applications, and this was one of those in-stream applications. So it has to go back through the process to 305, which was the previous bylaw, is no longer valid. In terms of development, the proposal is for 1,215 units. It's a mixed-use development. It has neighborhood commercial in it, townhouses, apartments, and small lot, single-family lots. Here's what the OCP amendment looks like, and it really hasn't changed much other than some of the designations have changed. So it used to be Greenway Corridors and Recreation, and now we have Parks, Greenway Corridor, and Recreation as a new designation, so that's changing. Other than that, the rest of the designations are the same. And the areas that the bylaw applies to is also the same. And the designations, the area of designations hasn't changed from the old OCP to the new OCP, so it's essentially trying to do exactly the same thing. In addition to those changes, there are a few adjustments that are required. One of them is the adjustment to the growth management boundary. Because of lot lines, there was an error in the growth management boundary that it didn't include that one little corner at the northeast corner, and that's this area right here, and that is part of this area. The lower part is part of the proposed development, so that boundary has to be adjusted for the development to proceed forward. The other inconsistency is development permit area 10, which is for forming character of intensive and restricted industrial development. It captures a little part of this proposal. It's roughly the same area that is affected by the growth management boundary. And because it is residential development, it wouldn't make sense to apply DPA 10. So we're also proposing that map be adjusted. In terms of the zoning bylaw, nothing has changed. The zoning bylaw is staying the same. It just needs a new public hearing. It has had 2 readings. Other minor changes in the OCP amendment are legal descriptions. There have been a subdivision of some of the parcels to clean it up before it was transferred to the new property owner from the Crown. And so the legal descriptions have changed. So the bylaw contains new legal descriptions for part of it. And so tonight's recommendation is to give the official community plan amendment first and second reading, and to schedule a public hearing for both bylaws for June 25th at Brennan Park.
I have a quick question. So at the public hearing, there'll be more comprehensive information on the debris structure and how much we're going to be ready to have the public hearing with that information.
Absolutely, yes. This is a very brief, just get it back up in process-wise, but we will have a comprehensive report on the history of the approval process, the discussions we had at the committee level about operations, maintenance, and funding, and that all is going to be coming back at the public hearing.
Council, any questions for clarification? I don't see any hands. Is there someone who would like to move this? Moved by Council Carter, seconded by Council Chappelle. June 25th?
It's a Monday.
Should we make it June 26th? You don't want to have it on?
Something else on the country.
What's the agenda planner? Can we pull up? Yeah, we can.
Oh, right,
Okay.
yes, okay, yeah.
Oh, so can we?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I may suggest that it is scheduled for June 26th. All right, everybody? Okay. That's what the motion is. I'll call it, yep, go ahead.
I just have a quick question for staff. I'm just wondering about the growth area boundary and the policies, the precursor policies.
So this would be a mapping adjustment. We are going to have these, I think, as we start to implement the new OCP. There's going to be tweaks here and there that are necessary. So those precursors wouldn't be applying here.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's a, I can't remember, but it's a small piece,
It is.
more of a correction than a policy change. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Is that, nobody opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have consideration of adoption of the District of Squamish Water Rates Regulation and Water Extension Bylaw. Is there a mover? Moved by Councillor Cryer, seconded by Councillor Chappelle. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And that council, and finally, 4A1, that council will provide a letter of support for House on Curling Club grant application for defibrillator, a new carpet from the Federal New Horizons Seniors Program. Moved by Councillor Kent, seconded by Councillor Grace. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. Motion to terminate? Moved by Linda? No, just kidding. Moved by Councillor Blanchard, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All those in favor? Opposed, motion carries.
I didn't get food.
Thank you, everybody.